Do the refs like have something out for Caitlin Clark though, like not protecting her? When you think about it, like these fouls that she's been a part of, they're not basketball plays. These are like viciously attacks to come at her.
So you're telling me this is the end of the WNBA as we know it? As they've just been exposed for blatantly cheating against Caitlin Clark. As in her most recent game, we saw some of the most diabolical foul calls we've ever seen, leaving Caitlin Clark and the fans in complete shock. I mean, this is just insane. Just watch this video, bro.
Not blocking the single digits for Asia, who recognized it and went to work. Through the foul on the offensive end of the floor because of her skill set. Here, maneuvers.
And that was just one of the 10 clips I could have shown from this one game. I mean, Asia Wilson is like 6'8", and Aaliyah Boston had her hands straight up. Genuinely makes no sense, and it shows that the WNBA is completely cheating against Caitlin Clark, even when Caitlin Clark is doing this.
High percentage shooter. Here she is out on Caitlin, who shoots over her and hits the three.
I mean, at this point, the WNBA is becoming completely unwatchable because of these poor refs. But let me know what you guys think about this insane situation. Did this ref just get caught cheating against Caitlin Clark?
It happened again. A WNBA referee stood just feet away, watched Caitlin Clark get grabbed on a drive like it was open gym, and shocking, absolutely no one didn't call a thing. Not a peep, not a whistle, not even a confused glance. Just blank stares and silence, as if we all imagined it. And if you've been following this season, you already know this isn't some rare oversight. It's become a weekly routine. So if you're as tired of the missed calls and the referee invisibility act as the rest of us, go ahead and drop a comment below and let them know we see it and we're not letting it slide. Because at this point, Caitlin Clark might need to start wearing a football helmet on the court just to get through a game in one piece.
Right in the first quarter, Caitlin Clark obviously being fouled. The refs don't call it. And then wonder why Caitlin Clark started off bad. Look at that's a foul on the Fever. How? But look at this. That's not a foul on the Storm. And then here we go. They call a foul on Sophie Cunningham for doing absolutely nothing. Dantas, just her hands in the air. Another foul. Touch foul, touch foul, touch foul. Look at this foul. Nobody did anything. But if Caitlin Clark gets hit, like if you're going to call it on one side of the court, you got to be consistent and call it for both teams the same way. Many times when the Seattle Storm drive it and do the same layup, why would you not call it for the Fever? See, look at this. Every time they shot the ball, Seattle Storm gets a call. Like, I'm not even joking. And then to miss a 24-second violation, it didn't hit the rim, obviously.
Now let's talk about what actually went down in Seattle. Another game. Another hard foul. Another referee blinking into the void while Clark gets body checked in plain sight. Seriously, at one point she got hugged from behind mid-dribble and still no whistle. The crowd saw it. The cameras caught it. Clark even paused for a second like, oh, we're really not calling that? Meanwhile, just moments later, Sophie Cunningham got whistled for a foul by existing within 6 inches of a defender. No contact, no aggression, just proximity. So apparently that's the new rule book. You can elbow Clark in the ribs, but breathe near someone else, and it's a foul. Fans aren't stupid. They're chopping up these clips on TikTok, posting side-by-sides, and calling out the nonsense for what it is. And it's not just one ref or one play. This is a pattern. It's a system-wide issue. Clark takes more hits than anyone, yet can't seem to get the most basic calls.
I think it's kind of funny and weird at the same time, but I've been knowing what's going on, you hear me? Now, all of the referees and the higher ups and all of that, whoever run that organization, you know what I'm saying? They be having their little meetings, bro, and leaving out certain players, the ones that don't go along with what they represent. You hear me? I'ma just say it like that. How they been treating CC and how Sophie had to light a fire up under them for them to do their job. Now everybody want to get in order and get in gear and act like they got some common sense. Nah, y'all should have been doing this. Don't y'all understand? CC is the face of the league. You treat your superstar great, with respect. You hear me?
And the wild part? She's not even flopping or begging for whistles. She's just getting hit over and over with nothing but silence in return. If anything, she's too composed, too professional. Because if roles were reversed, and this was happening to any other top draft pick, we'd have press conferences and official statements by now. But with Clark, crickets. Even Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White has had enough. She's not even sugarcoating it anymore. She said flat out that Clark isn't getting the call she deserves, that her team isn't getting fair treatment, and that this physical play is crossing the line. And when a coach publicly admits that, you know it's been building behind the scenes for a while. They've been watching it happen.
So CC having an enforcer is very important for the league because we see the referees ain't doing their job. Now y'all want to be panicking and all of this stuff. You know what? Out with the old, in with the new. Get rid of all this old stuff. So however y'all been running y'all organization for all of these years, it's time for a change. That's over with. CC done changed the league. So if y'all knew better, y'all would do better.
Game after game, hit after hit, no accountability. And let's be real, this Seattle game wasn't Clark's best night. She shot 0 for 6 from deep, scored just 6 points, turned the ball over more times than she scored. Statistically, one of her roughest outings as a pro. But here's the twist. She still ran the offense, still led the team, still helped orchestrate the win. Because while the shots weren't falling, her vision, her leadership, her ability to pull defenders and open the floor, all of that was still working. She dropped 9 assists, 3 steals, kept the team moving. And this is where you start to realize Clark doesn't need to score 30 to be the most impactful player on the court.
Child, bro. You hear me? Now, what if somebody tried to do that to y'all child? Y'all will feel some type of way, right? So you need to treat everybody fairly and equally. But unfortunately, that league doesn't treat people equally if they don't agree to their terms or move how they want to move. You hear me? Don't nobody gotta be no puppet. Look, man. Look, people like what they like, and that's just what that is, bruh. Protect CC by all costs, or it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
Just look at what happened around her. Aaliyah Boston went off 31 points, 72% shooting, a straight-up clinic in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell, 26 points, shooting flames. Lexi Hull, first career double-double. These aren't coincidences. They're results of Clark running the floor, creating space, drawing attention even while taking hits the refs pretend not to notice. The whole system flows through her. And when she's on the court, even when her shot's off, the rest of the team levels up. That's leadership. That's gravity. That's what MVP caliber presence looks like even on an off night. And through all this, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, has said absolutely nothing. No public statement, no tweet, no post-game interview, just radio silence. You'd think with 2.2 million people watching that game, she might have something to say. But nope, apparently when it comes to Clark's safety, the WNBA's official stance is, let's wait and see if she gets up on her own. Let's not pretend this is how other leagues operate. You think the NBA would let Steph Curry get decked every game with no response? You think the NFL would let someone cheap shot Patrick Mahomes without consequences? Of course not. They protect their stars. Because stars aren't just players, they're the brand. And Caitlin Clark is the brand. The ratings don't lie. Since she entered the league, everything changed. Before her, a game with 300,000 viewers was considered solid. Now, we're seeing 1.7 million average viewers and 2.2 million peaks. That's Super Bowl energy for a regular season WNBA game. And what do they do in return? Sell her jersey, promote her highlights, but actually stand up for her? Now, that would be too much work. So while Clark gets shoved around and ignored, it's players like Sophie Cunningham who are stepping in to defend her. That's right, Sophie. Not the officials, not the league had to become the enforcer. You know things are upside down when your teammate has to do the referee's job. Sophie saw Clark getting pushed, said enough of that, and took matters into her own hands. And in doing so, she instantly became a fan favorite. Funny how defending the most targeted player in the league will do that. But let's zoom out, because this isn't just about missed calls or bad refs. This is about how the league handles the moment it's in. Caitlin Clark has dragged the WNBA into mainstream headlines. She's the reason ESPN's coverage is up. ABC's ratings have jumped 76% year over year. Her games are selling out. Her clips go viral. And she's a rookie. A 22-year-old rookie carrying the media burden, the marketing load, the on-court production, all while getting knocked to the ground multiple times a night with no backup. Ask yourself, how long can that last? How long can one player carry this entire operation without breaking? Because right now, the message the league is sending is loud and clear. We'll take everything you give us, the views, the money, the hype, but don't expect us to lift a finger when it comes to protecting you. And that silence isn't just coming from the league office, it's also coming from other players. Because while a handful have spoken up in support of Clark, many others have gone quiet. Or worse, they've jumped on the bandwagon of downplaying her success. You've seen it. The subtle jabs, the side comments, the whole she's not that good energy floating around postgame pressers. And yet, here we are. Every time she steps on the court, attendance jumps, ticket resale prices spike, and a new record gets broken. So the question becomes, is it jealousy? Is it resentment? Or is it just denial? Because Caitlin Clark didn't ask for this spotlight. She earned it. She earned it in college, where she became a national headline every night. She earned it in the draft, where she was the no-brainer first pick. She earned it in the pros by doing what rookies aren't supposed to do, carry teams, drive national ratings, generate millions in merch. And still, she gets the cold shoulder from the very league that's riding her success straight to the bank. Even the fan base is split. There are the diehards, the day ones, the ones filling arenas with homemade signs and customized Clark jerseys. And then there are the bitter voices online, the ones trying to twist the narrative, paint Clark as overrated, or claim she's getting too much attention. But here's the catch. If she were being protected by the refs and getting superstar calls every night, maybe that argument would hold water. But she's not. She's getting knocked around like a rookie nobody, and she's still delivering. So what's the excuse now? Caitlin Clark is already doing what no other WNBA rookie has ever done, become the face of the league in less than half a season. She's doing it under pressure, under attack, and without the protection that every major sports league typically gives its franchise players. She's playing through it, producing through it, and carrying a team that most analysts left for dead at the start of the season. If that doesn't earn your respect, what will? And here's the bottom line. The WNBA is growing fast, but it's not growing by accident. It's growing because one player changed the equation. One player made the casual viewer care. One player made sports radio shows talk WNBA. One player turned a midweek fever game into a primetime national event. And that one player, she's being left to fend for herself while everyone else cashes the checks. So no, this isn't just about referees missing a call. This is about a league failing to show up when it matters. This is about a commissioner who won't speak up, about teammates too quiet, about critics too loud, about a system that wants to spotlight Caitlin Clark brings without lifting a finger to make sure she's safe while carrying it. If the league wants to grow, it needs to grow up. Start protecting its stars. Start holding officials accountable. Start treating the moment with the urgency it deserves. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just the storyline of the season, she's the reason there's a story at all. And if you agree with that, drop a comment. Let it be known. We see what's happening, and we're not going to stop talking about it. But here's where it gets even more ridiculous. The WNBA's official Twitter account will post Clark's highlights within minutes of a game ending. The same highlights showing her getting mauled without a whistle. They'll caption it something cheerful like, Caitlin with the crafty finish, while conveniently ignoring that she had to finish through 3 defenders hanging off her like she's a jungle gym. The cognitive dissonance is stunning. They want the engagement her plays generate, but they won't acknowledge the obvious contact that makes those plays harder than they should be. And speaking of social media, let's talk about the narratives being pushed. Every time Clark has a rough shooting night, suddenly everyone becomes a basketball expert. See? She's overrated. She's just a chucker. But when she drops 12 assists and her teammates go off for career nights, those same voices go mysteriously quiet. It's almost like they're rooting for her to fail, which is insane when you think about it. This is a player single-handedly elevating the profile of women's basketball, and some people are mad about it. Make it make sense. The officiating inconsistency has gotten so bad that other coaches around the league are starting to notice and speak up. Not about Clark specifically, because nobody wants to catch heat from the league office, but about the physical nature of the game and how some players are getting different treatment. That's coach speak for, we all see what's happening, but we can't say it directly. When multiple coaches are tiptoeing around the same issue, you know it's real. And let's be honest about what this really is. It's hazing. Professional hazing of a rookie who had the audacity to show up and immediately change the conversation. Because Clark didn't ease into the league quietly. She didn't spend her first season learning her place and paying dues. She walked in and immediately became the most important player in the building every night, and that rubbed some people the wrong way. So they let the rough play slide. They turn a blind eye to the extra contact. They create an environment where Clark has to prove herself twice as hard just to get the same respect other star players receive from day one. But here's what's beautiful about all this. Clark keeps responding. Every hard foul, every missed call, every attempt to knock her off her game just seems to fuel her fire. She's not out there complaining to refs or throwing tantrums. She's just playing through it and finding ways to impact winning. That's champion mentality. That's what separates stars from role players. Anyone can look good when everything's going their way. It takes something special to elevate your team while getting beat up and ignored by officials. The irony is delicious though. The same league that's trying to market itself as progressive and forward-thinking is treating its biggest star like it's 1990. They want the benefits of having a transcendent talent without providing the basic protections that come with being a franchise player. It's like buying a Ferrari and then parking it on the street in a bad neighborhood. You can't complain when someone steals the tires. Meanwhile, ticket brokers are laughing all the way to the bank. Clark jersey sales are through the roof. Her rookie card prices are skyrocketing. Merchandise featuring her name and number is flying off shelves. The WNBA is making more money than ever, and Clark is the reason why. But when it comes to actually protecting their golden goose, suddenly the league goes deaf and blind. And don't even get me started on the media coverage. Half the analysts are too scared to call out what they're seeing because they don't want to lose access. The other half are busy crafting elaborate explanations for why getting fouled constantly is actually good for Clark's development. It's making her tougher. She's learning to play through contact. No, she's getting cheap shotted while refs look the other way, and everyone's pretending it's part of some grand plan. The most frustrating part? This could all be fixed tomorrow. The league could issue a memo, the officials could start calling the game fairly, Commissioner Engelbert could make one statement about protecting all players equally, but they won't, because acknowledging the problem exists means admitting they've been failing their biggest star for months. And that would require accountability, something that seems to be in short supply at WNBA headquarters. So we're left with this bizarre situation where the most important player in women's basketball is being treated like everyone's little sister at the local rec center. And fans are supposed to just sit back and pretend it's normal. Well, guess what? We're not pretending anymore. We see it. We're calling it out. And we're not going to stop until something changes. Because Caitlin Clark deserves better. The fans deserve better. And frankly, the WNBA deserves better than this embarrassing display of negligence. The clock is ticking. How long before this becomes a bigger story? How long before a national media outlet picks this up and runs with it? Because right now, the WNBA is riding high on Clark's success. But success built on willful ignorance has a way of crashing down hard. And when it does, they'll have no one to blame but themselves.